Good morning, everyone. Hi, Bob. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Dustin. I know you're there somewhere coming in. There he is. Good morning. That does ring right in my ear. Very nice. All right. Well, it's good to see everybody. I'm looking through the list to make sure to see if we have any other guests with us this morning. And I know more people will be coming on, so it's good to see everybody and celebrating this rainy day, or I don't know, I guess it's probably not going to be a whole rainy day, but we'll take it as it comes. Because boy, we need it. So let's see. Let's see if I can do this now. Hold on a second. All right. Let me move the bell. I have a very small desk here at home, so there's no room for the bell and me here at the same time. All right. Can you guys see my screen? The shared one, I mean? Uh-oh, maybe not.
Yes, Maggie.
Okay. Let's see what's going on. Thank you. So I always like to share our vision to remind us, but also when we have guests so they know kind of part of what they know what we're about. A lot of people don't know what Rotary is about, and this is one way to help remind us. And this is also to remind us that what Rotary values in terms of diversity and celebrating the contributions of all people of all backgrounds. Frog, I don't know where the frog came from. So I want to just do a brief introduction. We have a couple guests here and they will be talking to us a little bit more later, but I wanted to give a shout out to Lynette Mullen, who is here this morning, and also Marty. Marty, pronounce your last name. I know it's Portuguese.
It's pronounced Coelho.
Coelho. So Marty
I'm
Coelho.
not sure why, but that's how it's pronounced.
Because it's Portuguese, and Portuguese is a lovely language, but very difficult to figure out. So we appreciate you being here. Great. And just putting this up here as a reminder that there is this fund if you'd like to donate to it. That's the information. Again, you could go to the district webpage and get more information. You can donate directly there. Or if you're of the old school and want to write a check, Ashley would be happy to receive that check. We got, I wouldn't say rained out, we got smoked out, didn't do our coastal cleanup, so we've rescheduled it for not tomorrow, but the last Saturday of the month, the 26th. So that's, if you were going to do that, put it back on your calendar and hopefully we'll be able to do it that day. Lisa, you
meet at 8 a.m. at Wildberries.
Right, yes, 8 a.m. Wildberries. And I discovered that, or we was reminded that our disaster kit at the office has 20 vests, 20 pairs of gloves, and 20 helmets or hard hats that I can borrow. We don't have 20 pickers. I guess we didn't figure that in a disaster we'd be out picking up trash, but so we didn't put those in there. But I can always bring those if we need those.
Is Carol here today? Do we have him for roadside cleanup?
I haven't seen Carol here yet. Somebody just would need to ask her if we can use those ones, but if not, I have a backup. So Lisa, are you here? Did you want to tell us there she is. Did you want to say anything about backpacks?
So it's not going to be starting until the second week in October. And we're still working out how we're going to meet. We know that it's going to be only, a handful of people, and I'm going to try to still set up the committees like I did last year, so that we can rotate and more people. Everyone can participate, or at least a few people can participate. And this is just going to be through COVID, just because we can't have everybody participating, but it's going to happen at someone's home, whoever volunteers their home, and it's going to be picked up on Wednesdays. and delivered to the schools on Thursday mornings because they need to get on the buses by Thursday afternoon. So I'll have more details next week.
Perfect. Well, next week it will be after you've done it. So send us out an email. Or not next week, I'm sorry. I plan meetings far enough in advance and I'm already thinking about that. Sorry.
No, it's going to be the week of October 5th.
I know, and in my mind, we were already there. So sorry, bad me.
Okay.
Oh God. A mind is a terrible thing to waste and I'm wasting mine. So sorry about that. Some pictures of us delivering the games and toys to Boys and Girls Club in Centro del Pueblo. I look like I'm fully masked up in that one picture. I wouldn't know it was me if I looked at it and didn't know it was me. But anyway, Rebecca and I had fun delivering those and they were very appreciative. So just thought I'd throw those in there. Oh my goodness. Okay, here we are. I'm excited about this one. Today is our bylaws for the foundation side of things say that we have an annual meeting in September. And I asked the board, why is the annual meeting for the foundation side different than the annual meeting for the club side? And I guess it's just that way, but we're supposed to report back to you a little bit on what's going on the foundation side. So I thought this would be a good opportunity and good timing to share where we are with our fundraising efforts to date, and to talk a little bit about what we need to do moving forward. So, and my slides keep changing on me, but anyway, this used to have, you can see that. So the foundation budget last year, pre-COVID, was $70,700. This year we set it at $33,300. And as of now, we are just $6,000 away from meeting that goal of $33,300. Which, given that it's basically 2 months into the year, 2.5, that's really great. But I know committees are really eager to start spending money. And so the question is, what do we do now to get there? And then the other question is, can we commit to going further than that? Because I know all the committees had their budgets really, knocked in half, if not less. So I know everybody would be eager to get things back up. But I also want to be cognizant of all of our time and our energy and our financial situation. So so I thought I would just share some potential, some ideas and have you folks think about them and talk about them, and see what we want to do. And we don't at this time have another fundraiser officially scheduled. We are going to have a meeting to talk about whether we want to do an Oktoberfest meal. And we've got a small group of people who are together going to be talking about that. But if anybody is interested in helping with that, put your name in the chat so that we can get you to that meeting and see if that's something we want to do. We haven't committed to it. We're going to talk about it, see if we can feel like we can make it happen. Somebody just texted me, and I know has to do with the meeting. Oh, yes, I know. Yay. All right. I'm slow at picking up my text. Hi, Terry. Yay. So, so I wanted to show you, this is called the No Breakfast Club option. And this is something to think about in terms of how much we are all saving each week on breakfast, what we would have paid going for breakfast each week, which is $13. And then I thought, well, what if you came to roughly half the meetings? I know all of us are coming to more meetings, but what if you only came to half the meetings? Normally, that means you'd save about $325. And then there might be some savings in gas and travel time. And so the thought would be that if everyone donated this is just to give you ideas of how we could get there, but if everyone donated just this amount, we would bring in 22,000, almost 23,000 more dollars. So that's something, a way to think about how we might fill the gap, and obviously it could go beyond that. The other option might be to just go your own way. Just, some of us can't give money we don't have right now. And so $325 isn't really sitting around it's not like it's sitting there because you saved it. It's just not having to spend it. So the other idea would be that just people look into their own lives and figure out what they could donate and do that. And here's just, again, I didn't do the complex math of saying, well, 27 people did $50 and 42 did, but just as to give you an idea of how these numbers add up. And, what we need is somewhere between these two, well, closer to this one. So, which is the low end minimum. And then another idea would be to just, what I call put the funds back into fun and figure out a way that you can raise anywhere from $250 even to $1,000 from your friends and your relatives. And I have a list of 20 different things to do, but here's some examples. You could sell something, you could make something, you can lead an outdoor activity and charge a fee, like a hike, a nature hike or something like that. You can make and deliver a meal or desserts. You could even offer to do a yucky chore for somebody that they don't want to do. And we all have our list of things that we don't want to do. We might be willing to pay somebody in Rotary to do those for us. You could teach. A lot of you got game and know a lot of things, and you could teach a Zoominar, webinar, and charge a fee for that, and invite friends, relatives, to that. Sell something that you make. We have some great artists in our club. You could host a virtual poker party, and this is something I'm intrigued to see if I could make it work, but I think there's ways to do that. And people love their pets. You could host a pet costume contest or something. There's others. You could host it. We could put up our baby pictures and play guessing games as to who is who and see who wins what. There's lots of different things you could do. So I think it's just about being creative. And, my thought being that if we all do something like this, then we can continue. We wouldn't necessarily have to do another big fundraiser, which takes a lot of time and energy. And then it's just an idea that we could look at it this way. So that's some background, and I just wanted to report to you where we are with the foundation side of things. That slide turned out really weird. That's Scott's lit up thing all dulled down. I don't know. But I guess the question is, are you ready to make any kind of commitment to do this? And I want you to think about it. I'm not going to do a paddle raise this morning and say, okay, who wants to give $50? And, although those paddle raises are fun, but none of you have paddles this morning, so it'd be kind of hard. But I'm committing at this point to donate $500 toward this. And so if any of you are willing to do that, some donate, or if you can think of a fundraising idea, let's spend the next, we really need to spend the next couple of weeks thinking about this and figuring out how close we get, because then that helps our committees. And I'd love to go past the $6,000. I know we have a lot of things we want to do out there, and I'd love to get past it. And I think in our club we could. So are there any comments or questions about any of that information that I shared with you? Karen, Karen asked a good question. If folks decided to fundraise on their own, can we get an idea of the projects that our clubs, that our club is sponsoring? Is that, you mean the different committees? Yes, definitely. And, you know, one of, you know, the two big ones are Packs for Kids and scholarships. The vocational committee is working on, and they're going to report on that project in more detail, but they're working on a project to provide support to youth, transitional age youth, getting job training and getting what they need so they can get a job. And they'll give a more full report. The World Community Services is already allocated most of their funds to projects, and one of them is with the Navajo Nation, and we'll be learning about that one. And so, and then Youth Services, I think we'll be sending out a survey to, well, I'll let them report today because they're going to give us a little bit of a report, but all the committees are kind of working, but they're feeling kind of, you know, they're kind of waiting to see what the money looks like too, to make sure that they can, you know, they can do the things they want to do. So there's a lot of opportunity in community service right now with COVID response. And each committee right now was allocated about $2,500. So that's going to go really quick.
Maggie?
Yes.
I'm going to commit to donating $100 per month, at least for the remainder of this Rotary year. So I encourage anybody to do that. If you can't do it in one lump sum, do it on a monthly basis.
Great idea. That's a good reminder because that's a way to kind of, I could probably do more if I did it that way. So that's a great reminder. Thank you, Dick. That's awesome. Anybody else have any comments or questions about this idea? I'd love to be able to, well, one, I'd love to be able to say to the Oktoberfest folks, hey, we don't need to do a meal because we've raised the money, or at least had commitments to it. So please think about it and shoot me an email if you'd like to commit and what you'd like to do. Yes, you can Venmo it. You could write, it's just club, you write, if you're Venmoing it, you would write just Club Foundation or RCAS Foundation. The money is, we're trying to discourage you from target specific programs or projects in our club because all of them are worthwhile, and our budget normally is we set the budget, give the money to the committees. So we don't want any of the committees to feel like they're competing with each other. So you don't need to spend money on any kind of, what's it called? Political advertising to try to get people to vote for your committee, because we're just going for all of them together. Thank you. Appreciate that, everybody. I was just looking at the comments, so I appreciate that. There's another comment. Let's see.
Jesse, come here. Jesse.
Thank you.
Here.
Thank you, Tammy.
Come here.
One of you is yelling at hopefully your dog, just so you know, we know. Be kind to dogs. Thank you. Thank you, everybody who's posted in there. This is wonderful. Tammy, you're funny. Yeah, no bacon for a while from us. Thank you, everybody. That's all. That's great. We'll see. Sophie will let us know what we've got, and we'll take it from there. Thank you, everybody. And let's not stop at 6,000. Awesome. All right. Oh, I'm going to do something here quick. I'm not sure who, let's see. Looking for you, Amanda. Where are you? Oh, here we go. There we go. Sorry, guys. Just give me a second. There we go. All right. I'm loving the animals this morning. All right, let's go to committee reports. We've got a couple committees that I asked to share some info. We're going to start. I don't know. Brian, are you here, or Rebecca? Could you guys do a youth services report? I'm looking. I didn't see Brian. I'm looking to see if Rebecca's here this morning.
I'm here.
Yay. Hello.
Yeah, we met last week. We're looking to put together a survey to outreach to teachers at the high school to kind of determine what their needs are. You know, again, like Maggie mentioned, our budget is really limited, so we're really looking at, for this year, how can we leverage the funds that we have for the maximum benefit of the youth in the community. Some of the things that I know that I was advocating for the group in terms of was just technology support. You know, everybody's home, and not every kid has, you know, their own bedroom and their own computer and high, you know, nice fast internet like we do at my house. So how do we maybe do some small tech scholarships to get students? So those are just some of the ideas, and, you know, how do we address our traditional programs this year? That's where we're at.
Great, great, thank you. So you're going to get that survey out to the schools pretty quick here, and then we'll see what the results are. That's great.
Yes, yeah, and Mike was really, you know, helpful, and just we want to make sure we both get sort of administrator and teacher perspective. What are the teachers' needs? They're working with the students on a day-to-day basis. What are they seeing? So, yep.
Great, great. Thank you for that. And then I wanted to have our diversity, equity, and inclusion committee. I forgot to include inclusion, but I will do that. And that committee, who wants to report in on what's going on there?
I can. Romy.
Right.
Okay, right on. So, well, I want to start with Rotary's theme this year, which is Rotary opens opportunities. And working on diversity, equity, and inclusion does exactly that. If we just consider the four-way test, right? Is it the truth? Yes. Fair to all concerned? Yes. Build goodwill and better friendships? Yes. And beneficial to all concerned? Absolutely yes. It's beneficial to helping others and helping ourselves and helping our club. With others, expanding our understanding and the experience of all people in our community really improves our ability to meet those needs. Helping ourselves when we learn and grow and broaden our understanding, awareness, perspectives, and empathy, we certainly help ourselves, and we become more inclusive, compassionate leaders, and we help our club because we build teamwork and collaboration and with other organizations that are serving Black, Indigenous, people of color. You'll hear that as BIPOC, and the LGBTQ community as well. We create more impactful service in our community, more engagement with different members, with members in our club, but also not yet members, hopefully bringing more people into our club. And also more collaboration and inclusion builds trust with all parts of our community. And that in the end makes us much more effective at being able to serve our community. So our goal, that was why do we need this? And our goal is sort of 3 steps. First is listen and learn. Second, create partnerships and collaboration. And third, that leads to to projects. With the listen and learn, we're going to set up a training. I'm very excited to report that our board has approved training on racial inequity and inclusion and being actively anti-racist. Because if we're not being actively anti-racist, then we're saying that its existence is okay. and we're going to take the opposite stand and be leaders. I hope that's my goal, that everyone's on board. But creating honest conversations about racism and privilege, and really being honest and self-reflective about our own biases and ways that we can contribute to discrimination and racism, it can be really uncomfortable. And so I'm excited to really patiently and slowly take this journey with all of us so that we can self-evaluate ourselves and our clubs and see how we can make really positive changes on this front. Some may say, well, is this political? And I just want to make sure that to say, no, there's nothing political about doing diversity, equity, and inclusion work. This is about service and meeting the needs of everyone in our community. And in fact, Rotary has always created bridges, crossing boundaries to serve people in need globally, combating discrimination and injustice, and we need to do exactly the same locally, right here at home. So that's listen and learn. And then partnerships and collaboration. We've already begun working with NAACP and Black Humboldt, Equity Alliance, Equity RCAS, Centro del Pueblo, a number of culturally based programs and student groups at Humboldt and CR. And I really encourage anyone to please tell us if there are other organizations that you feel we should be partnering with to really reach every part of our community. And what this is all going to lead to, I hope, is really inclusive and integrated efforts by our club, by our leadership, by our district, and by every committee and all the work that we do. When we look at it through this lens of inclusiveness, diversity, equity, basically the goal is that we begin doing projects that really meet those needs. And there's lots of ideas there. And so know that there's more to come on this. Basically, I hope that we listen and learn and believe, support, speak up, so that we are members of our community that operate with compassion and love for all.
Thank you, Romy, for sharing the vision and where we're moving forward. Those trainings will be in January. I think on my next slide, I might have put that down. Let's see. Yes, so these are the dates. I think it's really designed, I believe it's designed for you to commit to attending both of them. I think it's a progression. So it is a commitment to attend both of those trainings, but I think you'll find it very worthwhile. And it's going to be January, and you're not going to be going anywhere anyway, because it's going to be cold and rainy, lots of rain, I hope. So you'll be able to kind of stay at home and do this. It will be Zooming, and there'll be more, we'll have more reminders about that coming up. Thanks, Romy. Thanks to the committee, and thank you to the board for committing to this. So we're going to move to the raffle, because I like to do this before the presenter, because I feel like the presenter should not be followed by a raffle. I think it's better to have you know that you're presenting and not having people waiting to find out they won money after you're done. I don't know. That's just my thing. That's my year. Next year Ian can do whatever he wants. Nick, did I catch you? Are you ready for us?
Yep, I'm ready.
Right.
All right, let's see. Who's the big winner today? Today is $60 and the two $25 gift certificates to Kinetic Coffee and to Health Sport. And the winner is AJ.
Yay.
Let's see if he gets the big blue ball this time. $5. I'll send that to you to Venmo, and good luck next time. Maybe we'll have a big winner next time. Then you can use it towards your Final Friday project or your Final Friday gift.
Great. Thank you, Nick. Oh, I'm glad you said that. Next week is Final Friday. I know, I feel like yesterday was Final Friday, but there's a Final Friday every month. So if you're on the list for September, be thinking about what you're going to do. And I'm sure Terry will send out that reminder so you guys know. But it's next week. All right. So wanted to share this and remind you that some people haven't sent their masks in, but look at this picture closely. Isn't that cool?
Yes.
And we have so many of us that we may have to have two different ones made or three, but this is what they've come up with so far for us. And so now you're wishing you'd sent your picture in. I'm wishing I sent someone else's picture in. You guys all look awesome. With that, I'd like to turn the meeting over to our presenter, our guest, Marty Coelho, and to talk to us about this this project. Marty, you're still muted. Hate it when that happens.
I know. Thanks, Maggie. Do I have the option to share screen?
You bet. Hold on.
Okay.
You should be able to now.
Okay, let's give this a go. Do you see a wear a mask graphic? Okay, it's working. We love it when Zoom works. Not so much when it doesn't. So anyway, my name's Marty Coelho. I am the Executive Director of College Advancement and the RCAS Foundation for College of the Redwoods. I'm here as a volunteer today for the COVID Economic Resilience Consortium. We call it the CERC. And with me today is Lynette Mullen, who is our project manager, and Greg Foster, who we've labeled our illustrious convener and facilitator. The CERC is a volunteer group from Humboldt, Del Norte, and Mendocino, sometimes from Trinity, and there may be other members that are on the call this morning, so welcome. The CERC is comprised of economic development and business support organizations and was established to share updates, coordinate resources, ensure consistent communications to area businesses and to the public at large. I'm here today to ask for your support for a countywide Wear a Mask campaign that the CERC launched in mid-August. We're asking for your participation as a Rotary Club, as businesses, as community leaders. And later I will identify some actions you can take to help support the campaign. As background, we are currently at a moderate level for COVID. So I'm going to share with you the latest chart. And can everybody see our state? Okay, so we are at a moderate level for COVID. And if you look at the state, there's not many counties at a moderate level.
Marty,
Having said that,
Marty, I'm sorry to interrupt, but you're not sharing your screen anymore.
it's not sharing. Okay, 1 second. Thank you so much. Is it showing now?
Now you got it.
All right. Maybe 2 or 3 years into this pandemic, I'll have this nailed. I know, pandemic humor is just not that funny. So as you can tell by the state, this is a new graph that they're using. There's 4 levels to it. And this was just put out a couple of weeks ago. We're at a moderate level. And there's not many counties in California at a moderate level. Probably more disturbing is looking below us and seeing how high COVID is now below us. Having said we're at a moderate level, we've actually had 482 cases to date. 6 people have passed away. The majority of our cases in Humboldt County have come from large friend and family gatherings where folks weren't masking up. And Humboldt folks traveling out of that area and bringing the gift of COVID back home. We've succeeded to date in keeping COVID under control in Humboldt County through the efforts of our Office of Emergency Services, and the public health department, who's done just a great job in tracking and tracing folks that potentially have COVID in our county. So this new state map is determined based on two metrics. The first metric is the case rate, or the number of new cases per 100,000 residents, based on a 7-day average. The second metric is the testing rate, or the number of COVID tests coming back positive. The county will remain in a tier for a minimum of 3 weeks before being able to advance or go back. When you look at this and you hear the case count of 482, you have to take it all with a grain of salt. And what do I mean by that? Because the state, the way it tracks COVID cases, is based on your county of residency. So what that means is any people living in Humboldt County that have not declared Humboldt County as their residence, maybe they're here as contract workers, maybe they just don't want to declare that they live here based on the industry that they are a part of, they don't count if they get COVID. And so recently we had a breakout in Fortuna, and some of those folks weren't from Humboldt County, so their tests don't count. So 482 is a little misleading as to how many cases we actually have within our county, and that's something to keep in mind. The Wear a Mask campaign is not political. I can't stress that enough. That never is part of CERT conversations per se. It's designed to encourage the consistent wearing of masks to better protect the health of the community and to slow the spread of COVID. 99% of public health organizations internationally have declared wearing a mask is one of the very best things possible to limit COVID. And they were actually saying the same thing 100 years ago during the Spanish flu. So this just didn't come out of the blue. Our campaign tagline is, please wear a mask, don't make us ask, keep Humboldt healthy. And this becomes really critical right now because folks, winter is coming. And for those of you that aren't Game of Thrones fans, I just feel bad for you. But winter is coming, and in Humboldt, that means the crud is coming. And you have to pause and think about that. I had the Humboldt crud last year. It hung on for 2 months. It is the sickest I've been in 20 years. I cannot even imagine having the crud and COVID at the same time. I don't think you'll make it. And the sad thing is, all it takes is one person in Humboldt County getting the Humboldt crud, and everybody gets it. So it's really critical at this point between the Humboldt crud and the flu that we ask everybody to mask up as much as possible. So our basic messaging emphasizes the following things. Humboldt County has an extremely limited medical system, very limited medical resources. Only 27 ICU beds in the county for COVID patients and other emergencies, and on any given day, half of those beds can be filled up. So regardless of the politics in the area, there is not anybody that lives in Humboldt County that's going to sit there, look you in your face, and say we have a robust medical system, because we don't. The masks need to be worn to keep our businesses open. Masks are pro-business, period. Masks need to be worn so that we have opportunities to send our children back to school in safe environments. I've got 4 kids. I've got a 13-year-old next door to me here, struggling to survive in school because he's a social creature who would rather skateboard and play basketball. Online learning is killing him. I don't care how good they are at online learning. My son just can't adapt to that. And he's going to pay a price, guaranteed. So at some point, I'd love to be able to get him into a safe environment. And besides wearing a mask, maintain at least 6 feet of distance from others when in public places, indoors or outside, and regularly wash your hands. And I know probably all of you here are saying, yes, you're not telling us anything we don't know. And I'm here to tell you, you would be shocked, maybe not, the amount of individuals in our county that don't even know these basic things. It's staggering. The campaign is running a social media campaign through Facebook and Instagram, and we'll put those links up into the chat in a little bit. And we're running a very robust PSA campaign where we've provided a small stipend to media partners to really take our PSA campaign and kind of put it on steroids So currently Access Humboldt, Bicoastal Media Humboldt, Eureka Broadcasting, Lost Coast Communications, Mad River Broadcasting, K-Mud, Redheaded Black Belt, Redwood News, and the Time Standard have all come on as partners and are trying to blast our messages out every day. And this gets to the point where people are going to see them and they're going to get really tired of them, and that's about the point when people actually start to notice them. In addition to the social media push and the PSA campaign, we're promoting the campaign through partnering with organizations and businesses. So this includes all the businesses, organizations, foundations, and educational institutions that are already involved on the CIRC. So we have a lot of folks on our calls 3 times a week. Donors to our campaign have included AEDC, California Center for Rural Policy, Changing Tides, the CR Foundation, the Headwaters Fund, RCRA, RREDC, all of our county's convention bureaus and Chamber of Commerce's, Humboldt State, and more. And our newest partners are Open Door Community Health Centers, St. Joseph Health System, and McKinleyville Middle Schools. We just handed out a ton of our window clings to all of their parents. I tell you all this to show that we're serious about driving this campaign forward. We thought at first it was going to be for at least 90 days. We now recognize the fact that it's going to be significantly longer. But like I said, with winter coming, it's critical that we get as many of our folks wearing masks as often as possible. So what can you do to support the campaign? We're asking for a $500 contribution to the campaign to assist in producing materials. So we produce posters, flyers, window clings, buttons, and stickers. We're producing in English and Spanish. In fact, we're probably going to be finalizing our Spanish campaign this afternoon. And we distribute these materials to businesses, schools, and nonprofits. Your business or organization can declare yourselves as a partner of the Wear a Mask campaign. And in doing so, you can record audio and video PSAs. You can share our social media posts with your associates, and you can hand out our printed materials to the businesses and public. And we can personalize your campaign poster, which I've noticed you guys are already doing with Susan, which is fantastic. Lots of businesses are trying to take advantage of that, and they are by far our most popular posts. So I will go ahead in the chat and post up our information. And if you have any questions, please let me know.
Great, thank you, Marty. Are there any questions that people would like to ask of Marty at this point? Yeah, we did early on, or it's been a while, we're trying to collect our pictures, but I thought it would be fun to have one of Rotarians. Sorry, my cat rear end is upstaging me. And so I think it's, I think it's a great project, and I think, we need to look at of any of our service committees might want to participate in this. So we'll see, with a donation, we'll see about that. Any questions or comments?
Hey, Maggie, can I add one other thing? So
Please.
Marty had mentioned materials. One of the things that we are distributing in the community, I think you may have mentioned their window clings. So these can go literally in your windows at your business or at your home even, so your neighbors can see it, and in vehicles. And so I am happy to figure out a way to get these to you, not only individually, but if you have a place of business, if you have a place where folks are walking in, just putting these on the counter so people can grab them would be a great way to help us. So if you wouldn't mind letting me know, I will put my contact, oh, Marty's already got it in there, contact information in the chat. So if we need to figure out a way to get these to you, please just get in touch. I will do everything we can to get that done.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? I had one when you said that the folks that aren't, this is not their county of residence, So those numbers aren't showing in our, but then they're showing in the county of, I mean, do those numbers get sent to that county? So.
Yes, absolutely. So the
but
total state numbers are accurate. What doesn't necessarily get reflected in anybody's county is where you're getting COVID. And so the challenge with that is folks are living here. It really is their home, but they haven't necessarily declared it their home. I will say, add this as a last comment. This issue has become divisive within our community and communities across the United States. And we don't even attempt to try to persuade someone who has a position of not wearing a mask to wear a mask. I'm not sure that's possible, but I would advocate for this. We all have to figure out ways where we can talk to each other about the issue and not get upset with each other. Somehow we've got to hold these conversations and try to foster dialogue once again, even though for both parties it's uncomfortable and probably really painful. So.
Right, thank you. It's unfortunate that that's where it's come to, but I think from a health standpoint, you know, and if, you know, and also simply if the government has said, you know, you have to have masks on to go into businesses, and whether you like it or not, in order to support those businesses, you kind of have to do it. So that's just, I mean, yeah.
Yes, and unfortunately, our store employees throughout the county still get daily grief for asking people to put masks on. So it is just the new reality, which is pretty sad, that these frontline workers, often making minimum wage, are the ones catching the most abuse in a given day.
Right, right, and most exposure in a given day as well. So it's very, so if nothing else, be nice to the people who are keeping these cogs, keeping things going. You know, I don't know where any of us would be if folks weren't continuing to show up for work. Many of us have the luxury of being able to work from home or in a setting that doesn't have a lot of people coming in and out. And you know, I think about it every day, how when my cat gets to interrupt what I'm doing when I work from home and say, you need to play with me. I realize how lucky I am that I have that ability to do that. And many people don't. And again, this gets, you know, some of this gets back to the equity issues. And, you know, when you look at the statistics of who is still working, who didn't have a choice, who's getting sick, you know, beyond their percentages in the population, it's astounding. And it's, yeah, it's a big issue. So any questions, comments?
So if I could add, Maggie, I'm already getting requests for window clings, which is wonderful. So please, even if it occurs to you later, you can always ask Maggie for my contact information. Happy to get you whatever we can. I will say, I know Marty kind of already did the pitch, and I know money's really tight, but we're distributing these free of charge. Like the McKeelinville Middle School, we gave them hundreds of them and they passed them out to every family member. So just if it's possible, if the club's got any money that they may be able to use to support this, it can go strictly to the materials, so you know exactly where it's going. So just something, if you wouldn't mind considering that, we'd appreciate it.
Thank you. Yes, Mike.
Maggie, may I make a comment in regards to what Marty was talking about? Information is critical. What I taught my students for many years is research the source of your information. Make sure the information you're getting is a reliable, verifiable source of information, that it's good information. I think that is one of the most critical things that is happening in our country right now regarding everything, not just COVID. Thanks.
What, Facebook's not a reliable source? What are you trying to tell me?
What I'm saying is that if
I
you
understand. I
if
understand.
you get something from Facebook, where did it come from?
Right.
You know, is it a recognized, renowned, verifiable, good source of information?
Based in science.
Yes.
Exactly.
Right.
Enough said.
Very important. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I think you know, our community service committee is still looking for a couple co-chairs, and this would be something that committee could take a look at. So I really encourage you, if you're especially, you know, if you've been on that committee. Right now, it's, you know, you're not scheduling in-person meetings. It's pretty easy to pull a meeting together and have people talk. And so we really need a couple people to co-chair that and come forward to get that happening, because that money, otherwise, it's just, we're not going to be providing services out of that committee. So it's really important that folks step forward and please, if you're interested in helping with that, let Amanda know. She would love to have a couple people step forward and work with her and get these things moving forward. So putting out the plug. You know, John, your comment to me privately, was that about this president?
No.
Okay. Thank you. Just want to make sure. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Claire, do you want to talk about that documentary? I think that'd be good to share here as well.
Yeah, so it's on Netflix, and I have to confess I was multitasking and doing work at the same time. But it's called Social Dilemma, and it explains how the algorithms and things work on Facebook and YouTube, and how you really become just isolated by your own views and voices because of how this algorithm works. And several people who have left the social media companies are speaking out. It just makes us look at social media differently. And I think one of the most striking things is the incredible increase in youth suicide that correlates with the increased use of social media. So, you know, social media is not a great way for our kids to think the rest of the world is functioning. We only put up what's happy and good, and, you know, life is full of all kinds of experiences and emotions. So there are some good sides to social media for sure, but it's important to be careful. They also talk about like the addictive quality of it. And I know from my behaviorism classes, when you're getting those likes, you're getting reinforced and you're getting manipulated into posting more things that people will like. So anyway, it's pretty eye-opening and informative.
Yes. Thank you for that. Yeah, if anybody has time to, well, maybe make the time to watch that, I think that would be really, really important. So I really appreciate you guys coming. And Marty, yeah, okay. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
So in appreciation of you presenting to us, our club makes a donation. Oh, this is the wrong one. This says the Wheelchair Foundation. I bet we are actually making the donation this year to Tri-County Independent Living Center to support people with disabilities in our local communities. So
very good. Thank you.
Don't believe this one, but the other one. And we really appreciate your time. I want to leave you with a moment in nature, because I know, anyway, this is a rare photo. I don't think anyone's ever caught the wrenches in this habitat, but there they are. So I want you all to have a great weekend. Go
Hey, Maggie?
outside and you dance in the
Maggie,
rain.
I hear that mother is a real.
Sorry, you muted yourself. There must have been a.
Yeah, I do that. I don't do it often enough for the people around me. I just heard that mother was a real tool.
You heard a what? You breaking up. I know this is a good joke, but I'm not hearing it.
I heard that mother was a real tool.
Yes, mother wrenches are really tough on their children. Have a great weekend, everybody. It's good seeing you all.